Hey, sixth grade. Let's go over a few things on lesson 131 that were due today or due on Wednesday. If it's not today yet when you're looking at this. 131 is due on Wednesday. And yeah, I was just trying to think if I would give you the answers too early. If I upload this before you're done, make sure you're done before you check this out. So if you're not done yet, pause the video, get your math done, get lesson 131 done, because we're going to go over a few answers. This will not go in your grade book. We will talk about lesson 132 and 133 are due on Thursday, the odds, and I will give you the answers to most of those, if not all of those, and that will go on the report card. I will tell you what to do or how to record the grade so that I can put it in the grade book then. All right, open your books or get your papers out. Lesson 131. Let's just make sure you're doing this first part, a few of these right here. Number one, you're supposed to convert to percent by proportion, write any remainder as a fraction. So 1 over 9 equals what percent? So if you use proportion, you have 1 over 9 equals missing number over 100. Your answer there should be 11 and 1/9%. Remember, if you have a remainder, make it a fraction, 11 and 1/9%, and you must have percent. It's wrong if you do not have percent. Anytime it asks for percent, convert to percent, then you must have percent. Number two is the same way. 3 over 20 equals what over 100? So 3 over 20 equals what percent? 3 over 20 equals what over 100? That is 15%. Number three, make sure you're doing number three right. Write as a fraction. These fractions will always have a denominator of 100. So those of you that worked ahead, if you didn't do that, change those. So number three, you have 16 over 100, and then you reduce it. You can divide them both by 4 or divide it by 2 twice, and you get 4 over 25. So somewhere in there, you need to have a 16 over 100 and 4 over 25. Get familiar with the prefixes in number 5. The metric prefixes. Most countries use the metric system, all right? And you have the prefixes kilo, deca, hecto, centi, deci, and milli. And they all relate to the center. Then there's a center one in between. Between hecto and centi, you have your units of either measurement, length, weight, or volume. I think the first one we look at is volume, so you would have grams in there. Kilogram, kilo, deco, hecta, kilogram, decagram, hectogram are all larger than 1 gram. All right? Centigram, decigram, and milligram are all smaller than the center gram. The main unit of measurement is gram. Okay? But in number 5, all they want you to do is put the numbers in that on lesson 129 you have under each prefix. So number 5 under kilo, number 5 is 1,000. Number 6 is 10. Number 7 is 100. Number 8 is 0.01. Number 9 is 0.1. Number 10 is 0.001. Okay? Get yourself familiar with those prefixes. They will come up quite a bit the rest of the year, or at least, here recently anyway, they will come up a lot. Circumference. If you noticed, the last video I did, I had the formula to find the circumference, the distance out around a circle on the board. Let's go talk about it. I didn't talk about it, but it was there. And these are the answers for your circumferences. Circumference equals pi, 3.14 times diameter. Okay, there's another formula, 2 pi r. And that is if you just have the radius. So you get 2 times pi times r. But all you need to do, first of all, to make it simple, find your diameter. So if you have a radius of, in number 12, you have a radius of 15 yards. So your diameter is what? Your diameter is going to be 30. So just go 3.14 times 30 to get the answer of 94.2 yards. 94.2 yards is number 12. Number 13, 3.14 times 10. Move the decimal over one place into 3.14, 31.4 inches. These will have decimals in their answers, so make sure you place decimals in the right place. Make sure you label them correctly. This is just distance out around. It's not area, so it is not a square label. 94.2 yards and 31.4 inches are 12 and 13. Okay, I think you can figure out lesson 132. Let's look at 133. 132 and 133, the odds are due on Thursday. It will be graded. This will go on your report card. So carefully do this. Look at the first part of 133. The first part of 133 is what we would like to look at right now. This is the language of proportions, of percents and proportions. Okay, so right now they're just showing you the proportion, they're showing you the language of it. Okay, so you see that top, they have 3 equals 50% of 6. 3 is 50% of 6, and then you see how it's written. 3 is 50% of 6. So let's see if we can do these that are on the board. Forgot my stick. These are not these, okay? So don't worry about these down here. How do you write? So you're going to put a proportion like this with these numbers in it. 44 is 88% of 50. 44 is 88% of 50. So all they want you to do in numbers 1, 2, and 3 is what we're doing here. So you see number 1, 2 is 4% of 50. What's the proportion? What's the proportion for that? 44 is 88% of 50. So what you have here, you have 2 columns. You have the numbers and you have the percents. Okay? So is 44 a percent or just a number? Here you have percent. Here you have just numbers. Okay? What's your bottom percent always going to be? So here you have, and then here you also have 2 parts. You have a part and the whole. So here you have numbers. If at any time things are hard for you to see on the board, if you have questions, let me know and I will try to make things clearer. If you're not sure what it was, let me know, please. So here we have a number. This would be a number. Here you have a percent. You can see that. And here is just a number. Okay? This is a part. This is the whole. So you have 44 is 88%. So the 44 and the 88% go together. They go across from each other. 44 is 88% of the whole number 50. And this is always 100. Okay? 44 is 88% of 50. Get that in your minds. 44 is 88% of 50. Eventually, what this is setting you up for is that you will be able to figure out any of these numbers. So you could say, what number is 88% of 50? And you just work the proportion. 44 is what percent of 50? Work the proportion to get the 88. 44 is 88% of what number? And work the proportion to get 50. So you'll be able to figure out any of these numbers when they're missing. And that's what this is all about. But you need to understand the language of it. 44 is 88% of 50. All right, so what do we have here? Write this one down or think about what it looks like in your head. You should usually have scrap paper, just scribble it down. So it's the same way. And you put it in the same order. 26 is 13%, always over 100%, and your total is 200. 26 is 13% of 200. 26 is 13% of 200. All right, so what are the words for this proportion? So now we want the words. Think about and put it in the exact same order. All right, so here we have 44 is 88% of 50. 50 is 40% of 125. 50 is 40% of 125. Don't let this trick you. Just write it the same way. How would you write this one? Think about that a little bit. Write it down. Write the words. Do it exactly the same way. All right? So you have 56. Oops. Is 56% of 100. Don't forget about percents. Okay? Make sure you have those in when you're writing it out like that. And then in part C, look at part C, page 272. They have the proportion over there. They have your part, your boys, your total. So when it says what percent of the class is boys, you look at the percent number. The percent number that goes with boys is what? And that's the answer for number 6. And yes, it's very basic. It seems simple. You look at it and you're like, well, duh. But they just want you to get familiar with this, with the parts and the way they're written. So yes, the answer for number 6 is indeed 60%. And write percent down, write the percent sign down if they're asking for percent. Number 7, 100% of the class is how many students? So 100%, what's the number that goes across from 100%, or is across from 100%? And that's the answer for number 7. If you label those, good. If not, that's not a big deal. You should label it students. And then, yeah, so that's all you're doing for those parts there. All right, I think I'll let you go then. Have a good day.